Good morning, Year 5. I hope you're all well. Time to have a look at some maths for today. So we're going to recap our multiplying by 10. Okay, you might have looked at this already this week, but we're going to have a recap of it, and then I will set a task for you to do at the end. So let us have a look at the first activity. So these are your daily fluency questions. Okay, take a few minutes and pause the video and have a go at doing the questions on the screen for me. Okay, let's have a nosy through the answers. So the first one, 10 times 11, okay, is 110. Okay, 1 times 11 is 11. We can add the 0. Number 2, you may notice the numbers are exactly the same, just in a different order. Therefore, your answer will be exactly the same, should be 110. Number 3, 12 times 10 equals something take away 10. Okay, we know that the answer has to equal 120 on both sides. Therefore, the answer must be 130 take away 10. And this one here, 2 times 5, 5 times 2, it's exactly the same. Okay, well done if you got all 4 of those correct, Year 5. So let's move on with today's lessons. So here is what 110 looks like using our base 10 equipment. And here we have 4 lots of 10. Okay, we have 110 and we have it represented 4 different times. So this can be the same as saying 4 times 110. Now we know that 4 times 110, okay, is the same as saying 4 tens. Okay, as a multiplication sum, we know this is the same as saying 4 times 10, which gives you 40. So here is a place value chart, and we're going to explore the number sentence 24 times 10. So let's put some of these numbers into our place value. So here we have our 4 ones, and here we have our 2 tens. This represents our number 24. Now we are multiplying by 10, which means we need to make both of these numbers in our place value chart 10 times bigger. So to make 4 10 times bigger, we can replace that with 4 lots of 10. When we move on to our hundreds, we have 2 lots of 10 here. So we need to multiply both lots of 10 by 10. We know that 10 times 10 is 100. We have 2 lots of them in our tens. Therefore, we can replace them with 200 square grids. Now, you may notice something does not look quite right with our place value here. Let's see if you've noticed it. We may need to move our numbers across our columns, okay? We know that we cannot have 2 digits in one column, therefore we have to move them all. So now we have 2 in our hundreds column, we have 4 in our tens column, and 0 in our ones column. Therefore our answer is 240. So let's have a go at doing some problem solving together. So Jack has 7 £10 notes. How much money does Jack have? Pause the video and see if you can complete the problem. Right, let's go through this together then. So here we have 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 lots of £10 notes. So our sum is going to be 7 times £10. We know the answer is 70. Nice and easy? I hope so. Now this is our place value grid. Okay, and in our place value grid we have numbers in our tens and we have numbers in our ones. Now each row which goes across our hundreds, tens and ones has 2 tens and 1 1. Each row then has 21. 2 tens and 1 is 21. There are 10 rows in total from top to bottom. So we need to think and work out how many counters we have altogether. So the calculation is 21 times 10. 21 times 10, if we move the ones, we can exchange all of those ones because we had 10, and we can exchange them for one of our tens. Now, we have too many tens in these columns, so let's exchange this first row of tens. We can exchange that for 100. We also have another row of tens that we could now exchange. We could exchange those for another 100. So now we have our additional 200s that we have exchanged from our tens columns. Therefore, our answer is 210. Pause this video and see if you can have a go at working out which numbers belong in each of these boxes and see if you can tell me what the final calculation is. Okay, let's go through this together then. So each row, starting from your hundreds, tens and ones, so each row has 2 hundreds. It has 0 tens and it has 3 ones. In total, if you count the rows, we have 10 rows altogether. So our calculation, looking at our hundreds, tens and ones, is going to be 203, because that's the number that is represented in our row. We are timesing it by the number of rows, which is 10. So we are making 203 10 times bigger. And our answer is 2030. Well done if you got that correct. Pause this video and I'd like you to have a go at questions 1 to 7, and then we will come back and we will do some more work on our PowerPoint before we finish off our final questions. Okay, so let's have a look and explore this problem here. Now we know that we are practicing multiplying by 10. However, you might notice there is no tens value in our question. So we need to work out how we're going to find our tens value to be able to help us work out this problem. Now, if you've noticed, we do have 2 times 5 in there. So 2 times 5 is 10. So now what we can do is we can rewrite our number sentence to include the 10 that's going to replace 2 times 5. So our new number sentence becomes 10 times 77. We know that 10 times 77 is 770. Now, slightly different for these two questions. You may notice that in the first question, 2 times 5 was at the beginning, but in this question, 2 times 5 is at the end. Now that doesn't matter, because when we are multiplying and we know the number's getting bigger, the order of those numbers does not matter. So we can still start with 2 times 5, which we know is 10. And we then know that 10 times 36 gives us 360. You may notice every time we're timesing by 10, the number has an additional 0 on it because all of our digits move one column to the left. Now again, this one looks a little bit more difficult because our 5 and our 2 seem to be split across the question. However, that still doesn't matter. We can still pick those two numbers out and multiply them together, and we can rearrange our number sentence. So if we take our 2 and our 5, let's rewrite that number sentence as 5 times 2 times 24. We know that 2 times 5 is 10, so our new number sentence is 10 times 24, which is 240. Pause this video and have a think and see if you can work out the calculations to these two sums that you can see on the screen. Right, let's go through them together. So 2 times 5, we know that we can move these two numbers around as 10. 10 times 27 is 270. Same for this one. 2 times 5 we know is 10. So 10 times 190 is going to be 1,900. Whitney has 81 points. Alex has 10 times as many points as Whitney. How many points does Alex have? So, what I want you to do is I want you to have a read of what Tiny says. Tiny says that Alex has 91 points because 81 add 10 is equal to 91. I want you to pause the video and have a think. Is Tiny correct? I'll give you a clue. The clue is in the language that is written in the question. Okay, did you spot it? So the statement says Alex has 10 times as many points. We know that when we multiply by something, we are timesing. So we know that when we times, we are not adding, we are multiplying. So that means that we're not adding 10, we are actually multiplying by 10. Therefore, Tiny is incorrect. So our number sentence would be 81 times 10. And we know that 81 times 10 is 810. So, have a look back through the video if you get stuck and you need any help with it. Go back and have a look at the example questions that we've done. Go back and finish any questions that you haven't finished and see if that problem at the end has helped you. And I'd like you to have a go at completing the last few questions on your worksheet. And then tomorrow we will move on and looking at multiplying by 100.